So I was volunteering to work on the Chinese American Women's Oral History Project, which is a joint project between the Schlesinger Library at Radcliffe Institute and the Chinese Historical Society of New England. Many of the women in the project are older Chinese American women, and we're very concerned about collecting their histories before people are no longer able to tell them, either because they're getting older or because they pass away. Some of them are people who they worked in laundries or they worked in restaurants, but there are other people who were professors at Harvard or they work for the federal government. So there's a whole range of people, not just one type of person. Some of them described very difficult lives in which they had to work really hard in a laundry and take care of their children, and didn't get a lot of support from a husband, for example. But there were other people who described lives that were quite happy, and they were very successful and became prominent in their fields and went on to become lawyers or professors, and they were successful as the children of immigrants. So this area of China was very poor. There were a lot of famines and just droughts that caused the region to be very poor. There were a lot of kind of natural disasters occurring in the region, but there was also a lot of fighting between clans. And then because they heard such good things about the world outside, whether it was America or Australia or Canada, they felt like they could, go out and make some money and send it back to their relatives too. The Chinese Exclusion Act that was passed in 1882, so it severely restricted who could come into the country legally. So it basically excluded laborers, and the only people that could come were people who could prove that they were merchants or diplomats or students. And so that made it very difficult for people who were laborers to immigrate, but people who were here to bring their families and to bring their wives and their children. So there's a period in time when a bachelor society formed here in the Chinatowns, where men were here by themselves and they worked very hard and they sent money back to China to support their families in southern China. Then when women were able to come, when the immigration laws were loosened, more women were able to come and families were able to come, but they also worked in the laundry and in the restaurants, as a family. Even the children did. Like, they would go to school and they would come home and work in the laundry as well after school. I heard about a lot of personal hardship within families when I read these oral histories, and so I find it amazing that these people went on to be very successful, both in terms academically and work-wise. Some of the people who were more working class, they experienced language problems. They experienced probably difficulty, raising their children who were becoming more Americanized, and this tension between raising your child in a traditional way and having this influence of, being in an American school. There were, there were a lot of people from laundry families who lived very poorly, and they sent money back to China, but many of their children became successful and went on to become lawyers and judges and doctors and went to very good schools. So they had the support of, I think, parents who really believed in education. Well, I was really amazed by their stories and their endurance and their ability to overcome many obstacles, whether it was not having enough money to having their husband die, and just really being able to pick up and continue with their lives and take care of their children and make sure their children, went to school and to college and were successful despite personally experiencing a lot of, difficulty. The ability to overcome that I found amazing.